All right, I don't know about you, but today just feels a bit slower than usual. Not in a bad way, just things sort of linger a bit more, you know?
That's actually quite funny, because I had this really odd moment earlier. It wasn't anything special. I was just waiting for a coffee, standing there like everyone else, and it must have been, 2 minutes? Maybe even less. But I suddenly realised I had no idea what to do with myself.
2 minutes? And that was enough?
I know, it sounds a bit dramatic when I say it out loud, but it really did feel strange. I just stood there, kind of looking around, then looking at nothing. And I thought, am I supposed to be doing something right now? Like, do I check my phone? Do I pretend to read something? I didn't even know.
That's interesting, because there used to be loads of moments like that, didn't there? Just standing around, waiting, doing absolutely nothing, and it never felt like a problem.
Exactly, and that's the weird part. This time it felt like something was missing, like that space needed to be filled with something, and I could literally feel myself about to reach for my phone, like my hand was already moving before I even decided anything.
Yeah, that sort of automatic reaction. You don't really choose it anymore, it just happens.
Yeah, and the strange thing is, I stopped myself this time. I don't even know why. I just thought, no, just wait. And then it got even more uncomfortable, because now I was just standing there, fully aware that I was doing nothing.
So instead of fixing it, you made it worse?
Pretty much, yeah. But it made me notice something. That tiny bit of time, like literally just a couple of minutes, felt way longer than it should have. And I kept thinking, why does this feel so awkward?
By the way, if you've just found us, this is Mind the Gap. We tend to talk about everyday moments like this, the kind you don't really think about until they feel a bit off. Anyway, that feeling you had, I reckon a lot of people would recognise it.
Yeah, because it's not like anything's actually wrong. You're just there, waiting, but somehow it feels like you're supposed to be doing something else, even when there isn't anything else to do.
And that's such a small moment, but it says quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I didn't expect 2 minutes in a coffee shop to feel that strange.
It's interesting, though, what you said about almost picking up your phone. I feel like that happens so quickly now, you barely even notice it. It's not even a decision anymore, is it?
No, not at all. It's just automatic. Like there's a tiny gap, even just a few seconds, and I'm already reaching for it. I don't even pause to think, it just happens.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It kind of kicks in before you realise what you're doing.
And the funny thing is, I'm not even checking anything important. I open my phone and then I just start scrolling. No purpose, no plan, just going from one thing to another.
Just scrolling through, yeah. And I suppose it gives you something to focus on, even if it's only for a few seconds.
Yeah, but it's weird because I don't really feel better afterwards. If anything, I just keep going. Like I don't even realise how much time has passed.
That's quite telling, actually. It's not about enjoying it, it's more about filling that space.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because when I didn't pick up my phone earlier, that space just felt exposed somehow, like there was nothing to hide behind.
That's a good way to put it. Normally, there's always something in front of you, something to look at, something to react to. And when that disappears, even briefly, it feels a bit unfamiliar.
Yeah, and I think that's why it felt so strange. Because I wasn't doing anything, but I also wasn't used to not doing anything.
Do you think we still get bored then? I mean, properly bored like before?
I'm not sure we do. I think we get close to it, but then we stop it before it really happens, that we don't let it fully arrive.
That's interesting. So instead of boredom, we just keep ourselves busy.
Busy, yeah, but not in a meaningful way. It's more like constantly doing something without really being in it.
Right, so you're never actually bored, but you're never properly engaged either.
Yeah, that's exactly how it feels. And I think that's why those 2 minutes earlier felt so off, because for once there was nothing there to fill the gap.
There's something else I've caught myself doing lately. I'll be on my phone for a while, just going through things, And then when I stop, there's this odd moment where I try to think back, and I can't really recall anything properly.
That's actually quite unsettling when that happens. You know you've just spent time on it, you were clearly looking at things, but it's like nothing really stayed. It's almost like your brain didn't bother holding on to any of it.
Exactly. Or maybe not even exactly. It's more like everything just passes through. Nothing really settles. You see it, you react to it for a second, and then it's gone before anything has a chance to stick.
That's it. It doesn't stick. And the pace of it doesn't help either, does it? You're just moving on constantly, one thing, then the next, then something else straight after that. There's no time to sit with anything.
It almost feels like you're not meant to stay. Like the whole thing is designed so you keep going, without ever really stopping to think about what you've just seen.
Funny thing is, even when I notice it, I still don't stop. There's always that moment where I realise I've been scrolling for ages, and then somehow I'm still scrolling.
That's the bit that gets me. You're aware of it, you can see it happening, and yet it doesn't really change your behaviour. You just carry on.
And when you finally stop, there's this sort of empty feeling. Not dramatic, not awful, just a bit flat, like something should have happened, but it didn't quite land.
That's a good way of putting it. It doesn't land. You've gone through so much, but none of it really leaves an impression.
It all kind of blends together in the end. If you asked me what I saw 10 minutes ago, I'd struggle. I might remember one thing, maybe, but the rest just disappears.
So you've technically been doing something, but it doesn't feel like you've done anything meaningful.
That's exactly it. You're busy, but it doesn't feel meaningful. And somehow that's worse than just being bored.
At least with boredom, you know what's happening. This is different. You're occupied, but there's nothing really there.
Yeah, it's like you're filling the time, but not actually experiencing it. And when it's over, there's nothing to take away from it.
So you're never quite bored, but you're not really satisfied either.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that feels a bit off. You keep going, you keep scrolling, but nothing really sticks, and you don't even notice it until you stop.
It's funny though, hearing us talk about that, it almost makes boredom sound like something we've lost. Not completely, but we don't really let it happen anymore.
Lost? I don't know if I'd say I miss it. I mean, being bored was never exactly enjoyable, was it?
No, that's fair. It wasn't enjoyable in that moment. But I do remember there was something about those times when you had nothing to do. You'd just sort of sit there, maybe stare out the window, and your mind would just go somewhere.
I get what you mean, but that also sounds a bit uncomfortable. Just sitting there doing nothing, letting your mind wander. It feels a bit strange when you think about it now.
It does, yeah. I think we're just not used to it anymore. Back then, you didn't really have a choice, so you just zone out for a bit. And sometimes that's when random thoughts would come up, things you wouldn't think about otherwise.
Like what though? Because when I think about zoning out, I just imagine myself staring into space and feeling a bit lost.
Yeah, that happens too. But sometimes it goes a bit further than that. You start connecting things, or remembering something from ages ago, or even coming up with an idea out of nowhere. It's not very structured, it just sort of appears.
That's interesting. I don't think I give myself that kind of space anymore. The moment there's silence, I usually fill it with something.
Right, and that's probably the difference. Those thoughts need a bit of space, don't they? If you're constantly looking at something, reacting to something, there's no room for your mind to wander.
So you're saying boredom isn't just nothing, it's more like a kind of space?
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Not very exciting, but useful in its own way. It gives your brain a chance to slow down a bit, instead of constantly jumping from one thing to another.
I suppose that makes sense, but I still feel like I'd get restless. Like, if I just sat there with nothing, I'd probably start reaching for my phone again.
Same here, to be honest. It's not easy. I don't think it's something we're used to anymore, but maybe that's exactly why it feels so strange.
So it's not that boredom changed, we did.
That might be it, yeah. We've just got better at avoiding it. I got stuck on a train the other day. Not for long, maybe 15 minutes, but long enough that everything just stopped. No announcements, no updates, nothing. Everyone was just sitting there, waiting.
Oh no, that's the worst. Especially when you don't know how long it's going to be. That always makes it feel longer somehow.
Exactly. And at first, everyone did the usual thing. Phones out, scrolling, checking messages. But after a while, it sort of ran out. Like there was nothing new left to look at.
That's such a strange moment, isn't it? When you've already checked everything and you're like, now what?
Yeah, and at that point, I had no choice. I just sat there. Properly sat there. Didn't reach for anything, didn't try to distract myself, just stayed where I was.
That already sounds uncomfortable. I don't know if I'd last that long without doing something.
It was, at first. There's that moment where you feel a bit restless, like you should be doing something else. But then after a bit, it changes. I started noticing things, little things, like the sound of the train, people shifting in their seats, someone quietly talking on the phone a few rows down.
That's interesting, because I don't think I notice those things normally. I'd probably just block all of that out.
Exactly, and I think that's the difference. When there's nothing else to focus on, your attention sort of spreads out. You start picking up on things you'd usually miss.
I had something similar once, actually. My phone died while I was waiting somewhere and I didn't have a charger, so I just had to sit there. No music, no scrolling, nothing.
That's even worse. No backup at all.
It felt awful at first. I kept reaching for my phone out of habit and then remembering it was dead. That happened more times than I'd like to admit. That after a while, I just gave up and sat there.
And did it change after that, or was it just a long wait?
It did, actually. I started looking around, noticing people, guessing what they were doing, making up little stories in my head. It sounds a bit silly, but it made the time pass in a different way.
That's not silly at all. That's exactly the kind of thing we were talking about earlier. When your mind's left on its own, it starts doing its own thing.
Yeah, I guess when you have no choice, you sort of rediscover that. It's just not something we let happen very often anymore.
There's something about those moments, though, when you don't have a way out. No phone, nothing to distract you. It's not just that you're bored, it's something slightly different.
Different how? Because to me, that still sounds like boredom, just a bit more uncomfortable.
Maybe, but I'm not sure it's the same thing. I think what feels uncomfortable isn't just having nothing to do, it's being left on your own, with nothing to look at, nothing to react to, just you and your thoughts.
That sounds a bit intense when you put it like that. I don't know if I'd enjoy that at all.
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be enjoyable. It's more like you're sitting there and your mind doesn't have anywhere else to go, so it turns inward a bit. You start noticing your own thoughts more.
That's probably the part people try to avoid, because once you're there, you can't really distract yourself, can you? You just have to sit with it.
Exactly. You just sit with your thoughts, and that can feel a bit uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to it.
I can see that. Even now, if things get too quiet, I feel the need to put something on. Music, a video, anything really, just so I'm not completely on my own.
That's interesting, isn't it? It's not the silence itself, it's what comes with it. When everything else drops away, you're left with whatever's going on in your head.
Sometimes that's fine, but other times it's a bit much. You start overthinking things, or remembering things you didn't really want to think about.
Yeah, so maybe it's not boredom we're avoiding. Maybe it's that feeling of being on your own with all of that.
That actually makes sense. Being bored is one thing, but being alone with your thoughts feels different.
It is, yeah. And I don't think we give ourselves much time for that anymore. There's always something to fill the space before it gets to that point.
Yeah, we sort of step in before it even happens, like we don't let that moment arrive.
Maybe that's why those quiet moments feel so strange now.
I'm just thinking, next time I'm waiting somewhere, like earlier today, I might try not to pick up my phone straight away, just to see what happens.
That sounds like a slightly risky experiment. Give it, 30 seconds before you reach for it again?
Probably less than that, if I'm honest. I'll be standing there thinking, right, now what? But I am curious. I want to see if it feels the same as today, or if it gets a bit easier.
It might feel a bit odd at first, but that's probably part of it. You're just not used to being there without doing anything.
That's true. It's not that we can't do it, we just don't really let ourselves.
Exactly. It's more about leaving a bit of space now and then rather than trying to force anything.
I'll try it. No promises, but I'll try.
That's enough. Just notice it next time. See what you do, see how it feels.
And if I end up scrolling again, I'll just pretend this conversation never happened.
That's fair. I'll probably do the same, to be honest.
All right, I think that's probably a good place to leave it for today.
Yeah, feels like a good moment to pause, doesn't it?
If you've been listening along and any of this felt a bit familiar, you might want to try it yourself, just for a moment. See what happens when you don't fill the space straight away.
And if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to follow the show or share it with someone who might need a little break from their phone.
All right then.
We will see you next week.
See you next week.